I'm Beth Crowley. I am a singer-songwriter, and if I had to describe my music in 3 words, it would probably be cinematic, emotional, and authentic. I've always tried to come up with new and interesting angles to take with my songwriting. So I don't remember what first gave me the idea to write a song about the mortal instruments. I think I just thought by that point I'd been, married for a couple of years, and there wasn't anything too dramatic or exciting happening in my personal life. So I was like, well, what's a different perspective that I can take that would be more interesting and exciting? And I had just finished reading the first Mortal Instruments book, City of Bones, and I just had the thought of, what if I wrote a song from Clary's perspective? That would be new and interesting and challenging. So I went with it. I could never have anticipated how much attention it would have gotten and how it would have led to all of these other book-based songs that I've written, but I'm so glad that I did. I think I've evolved a lot since 2011. We're coming up on 10 years of me being on YouTube and putting music out. And when I first started, I really didn't go into it thinking that anybody would ever see it. And the first video that I did that was just like a silly mashup of songs ended up getting a lot of attention. And so I thought, well, this maybe would be a cool way to get some of my original music out there. And I just really had no intention or idea of it ever leading to what it's become. And I think that, like anything that is a craft or something that you learn, I think that I've gotten better over time. I know more about songwriting as a craft, and I know more about music production and how I want things to sound, and I've become more confident when I go into the studio in how I want the track to end up, and definitely when it comes to how to do things on social media to be able to market myself. I've definitely learned a lot over the last 9 years. So just like with anything, it's just a development process and a learning curve. If I could give any advice to my younger self, it would be to just stay true to what you want to do and to not try and cater to what you think people want. Because if you just do what you think people want, then it doesn't feel like as much fun as it does a job. So I've definitely gone through several periods of feeling more insecure about my music and what I was doing and doubting myself, and then trying to do what I thought people wanted instead of what I wanted. So I would just tell myself to skip over all of that self-doubt and just keep doing what you do. One of my biggest songwriting challenges and production challenges was Monster, which is coincidentally my biggest song to date. And I think it took me over a year from start to finish, from the first idea that I got for writing the lyrics for Monster, and the little "my tongue is a weapon and I'm locked and loaded" was the first thing that I had come up with for that song. And I ended up building a little bit on that, and then I just never could figure out what direction I wanted it to go. So it took at least a year, and I think a little bit more, from the time that I first wrote that lyric until it was a finished song. And then when we went into the production, when we recorded, it just took a lot of tries and a lot of testing different things out to finally get to what the final song that is out now is. And I kind of love that process. I love the process of the gut instinct of like, let's try this, or it could sound like this. And I think there have been a lot of songs where I've had an idea in my head of what it was going to sound like, and it turned out differently in a better way. And then there's been times where I've gone in with songs and they've turned out exactly how I imagined them, which is always really cool. So yeah, I love the process of writing and recording and taking it from just this little tiny snippet of an idea to a fully finished song. I have several songs that I would consider more personal to me. 2007 is one that I wrote about my experiences with depression and anxiety, and that one hits pretty close to home. And then one of my newer releases called Worth It is also talking about kind of our personal viewpoints and struggles with being a good person and trying to figure out what my purpose is in the world. And so anytime I write something that's purely based on my perspective and my thoughts and feelings, those always hit a little bit differently. But I think with each of my songs, whether it's a book-based song or it's based on like characters I made up in my head, there's always a little bit of me in there. So they're all personal, but the ones that are the most personal are the ones that are 100% just raw and all my feelings. So yes, I have finished writing a book, and I'm currently in the process of querying it, so I'm sending it to agents to see if anyone is interested in representing me to publishers. And I always knew that I wanted there to be a music component to it, and so I have completed 7 songs, 7 new original songs that pair up with the book. And it's really cool, and I'm just very excited for the prospect of being able to share it. I get so antsy whenever I have something new that I just want to share it right now, and this is going to be more of a long process and it's going to take some time and some waiting, but I really think the music ties in really well with it, and I'm very proud of the book itself. And as far as a quote, I would say I'm still keeping things pretty under wraps. I will say the book is about a girl that has lived with her dad and lived a normal life, and then her dad passes away, so she has to go live with her mother, who just so happens to be one of these like famous socialite influencer type people, and so she has to adjust to that whole world while she's grieving the loss of her dad and, you know, meeting a boy that she likes. And so that's a little bit about what it's about. I don't think I have any quotes yet to share, but that's a little synopsis of what the book is about. I never go into writing a song about a book that I know is being turned into a series or a movie with an expectation that it's going to be part of the soundtrack. That would be amazing, and that would be a dream, but I don't really focus on that, and I don't really actively pursue that. But the only time that I really have is that I was very hopeful that Warrior would get into the Mortal Instruments movie or Shadowhunters TV series, and it just didn't end up working out. But that's just kind of an icing on the cake thing. I just write the song about the book series because I love the books, and anything that comes after that, whether it's the author recognizing it or me getting to play an author signing, or if someday I ever get to be on a movie or TV soundtrack, that's just kind of icing on the cake. That's just extra stuff, following what I already love to do.